When Marvel's Daredevil series first aired on Netflix, everyone was blown away by Vincent D'Onofrio's portrayal of the Kingpin. He was regarded as one of the most cold-blooded villains Marvel has ever produced. The Daredevil series ended on the 19th of October with its third season. One of the biggest standouts of the series, however, was Wilson Fisk. What made him so compelling was the much more grounded approach in his character. Audiences usually appeal to larger-than-life and supernatural characters. However, in my opinion, it's much more compelling when you show us a supervillain that is actually grounded in reality. Hell, it could even be argued that he's better as a character than Matt Murdock. Matt Murdock is a man who the viewer can relate to. He's a protagonist and is designed to be rooted for. Kingpin, on the other hand, is also a shockingly relatable character. It's his moral code that makes him so interesting. Deep down, he just wants to be a better man than his father was, as explained in episode 8 of Daredevil. Fisk really believes his vision for the city is a good one. Even though it displaces lots of poor people and he's making allies with criminal enterprises, you sort of want to root for him, but you feel kind of bad for doing so. He's clearly not a good man, so the fact that you can reach a level of understanding and empathy for him is kind of ironic. Fisk eventually accepts that he's just as much of a violent bully as his father, but in the last episode, he lets all of that go in the final fight with Daredevil. In a shocking surprise, however, there were many rumors surfacing the internet of how Kingpin might actually return in the MCU, and how we could possibly see him face off Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the new Spider-Man trilogy. We may also see him interact with Daredevil, as they've been teasing us in No Way Home, but we're here to talk about Wilson Fisk. Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin appeared at the end of episode 5 of Hawkeye. This exploded the internet and left many people wondering how Kingpin could tie into the plot of the series. Many were also wondering whether he'd be the same Kingpin from the Netflix series, or if they'd toned down his violence for the MCU. It wasn't long, however, when we finally got to see D'Onofrio back in action in the 6th episode of the Hawkeye series, where he faced off against Kate Bishop. I was surprised to see how easily Kate was able to beat him. The fight scenes just didn't feel that epic. We never saw Kate Bishop actually train in the previous episodes, but we're only told how good she is through exposition. So a rookie character walks in and beats Kingpin in a short fight. Narratively, that makes zero sense. It took Daredevil multiple seasons to take the Kingpin down, and she did it in a few minutes. Hawkeye didn't even have a scene with Kingpin. In all honesty, Wilson Fisk felt dumb in this iteration of the character. He wasn't as calculating as he was portrayed to be in the Netflix series. He's just another generic big bad guy. Literally. In Netflix's Daredevil, his physical strength made him somewhat intimidating, but his intelligence and his ruthlessness was his main selling point. But here, he's just so much more laid back. In the future, I don't see how anyone could take this character seriously. Kingpin's return in Hawkeye was something the viewers of the series created more theories about compared to the other characters. However, many audiences have actually debated whether the Netflix Marvel shows were actually a part of the MCU, or were they set in a separate universe? Vincent D'Onofrio quote-unquote confirmed in an interview with Screen Rant that both Hawkeye and Daredevil's incarnations of his Kingpin are the same, and explains how the studio ties them.
That's a big question that I think I have too, is we've seen you as Kingpin and Daredevil. Do they exist separately, or do you see them as one?
No,
Are these two
they don't
separate?
exist, except they're the same person. From my point of view, like a lot of the Avengers stuff, a lot of the MCU stuff, that they tried to connect as many dots to the original canon as they can, and some dots are just not possible to connect. And that's what we've done with connecting to Daredevil and vice versa, is that there's some dots are connected. Like in the Hawkeye show, Fisk is obviously physically stronger and can take more physical abuse. But the key to his being an interesting character, in my mind, will always be the fact that he has this emotional life that grounds him, that makes everything work as far as I'm concerned. We can sell that character in so many facets. Story-wise, we can sell it if we keep him based in that emotional life. And I know that the writers and the producers and everybody involved in the Hawkeye show we were all on the same page about that. So
it would be interesting if they tied the MCU character and the Netflix character by giving us a short backstory, like how ever since Daredevil, Matt Murdock got blipped for 5 years, Kingpin was able to take over the criminal underworld once again, and then create new connections and allies, such as Kate Bishop's mother. They could also explain how he's so much stronger than he was 5 years ago if they could connect it to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Basically, they could show how he got the super soldier serum through connections. I think it would be a perfect backstory for the character, and you wouldn't have to repeat what he did in the Netflix series. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what you see, then make sure you turn into the hook and smash that subscribe button and the notification bell. It's free and it's your ticket to stay up to date with all the newest content we produce on the channel.